Love, it was 4 years ago today on October 3rd, 2021. You swiped right on me on Hinge. That one little swipe turned into a phone call that lasted more than 3.5 hours. And what I loved most about that call wasn't just the time we spent. It was how real it was. Neither of us was trying to put on a show. We weren't pretending to be someone we weren't. We were at a stage in our lives where we didn't have time or patience for games. We wanted something real, and that meant showing up as our full, honest selves from the very beginning. So instead of pushing us apart, that honesty pulled us closer. Now, a few days later, we met for dinner at Rush Street in Culver City. I brought these 36 questions on my phone ready to dive in. And I know when I first pulled them out, you didn't quite know what to make of it. I mean, because who asked 36 questions on a first date, right? But instead of brushing it off, you leaned in. You went through the exercise with me anyway. And that willingness told me so much about you. That conversation lasted at least 3 hours. Well, partly because unbeknownst to me, Rush Street was more of a loud sports bar than a quiet dinner spot. So there we were, practically yelling questions across the table and trying to hear the answers over the noise. But even in all that chaos, what stood out to me was your honesty, your vulnerability, and your willingness to be truly seen. That was rare and refreshing. And then just a month later, when I was running the LA Marathon and my hips started to lock up on me, it was around mile 15. And I'll never forget when I finally made it around to mile 19. And suddenly there you were. You ran out into the street with this homemade sign saying, "Go, Freddie." I can't even describe what that did for me in that moment because I needed energy. I needed motivation. And there you were. That one gesture carried me through the next 7 miles. And when I finally crossed that finish line, it wasn't just about completing 26.2 miles. It was about realizing that you had become part of my finish line. You were there in the middle of the race when I was at my lowest, and you were there at the end at my proudest. From that day forward, I knew you weren't just cheering me on in a marathon. You were someone who would cheer me on through life. And 2 days later, you drove me to the surgery center to have my left tricep reattached. You stayed with me, kept my family updated, and then you took me home, made sure I was comfortable, and went back and forth to the pharmacy because, of course, the prescriptions weren't ready. And so from the very beginning, you dedicated yourself to me and to this relationship, and it just made me want to figure out how to keep you. From then on, we were inseparable. You poured into me, into my son, even into my little dog who decided you were going to be his person, whether you liked it or not. You poured into my older kids, my parents, my sisters, and gave me the gift of another mother in Cynthia. You took care of me physically through 3 hip replacements and emotionally through the dark days when I felt like I was just losing it. And then in December of 2023, you said yes to my proposal. And we spent an enjoyable and, yes, at times challenging 11 months planning and executing our wedding. But those months gave my family and friends the chance to experience for themselves what I had felt from the very beginning, that you are impossible not to love. Love, you've meant so much to my life, my son's development, my older kids, my family, even my little dog's heart. And I couldn't list it all if I had days to do so. But I can say this, every single thing we've been through in these 4 years has only brought us closer. And beyond all of that, you've helped me shape the harebrained ideas that run around in my head into something real. You've taken scattered thoughts and helped me turn them into actions I could actually execute. You've taken words that might have come out rough around the edges and helped me find ways to say them in a way that lands better with others. You've sharpened me, not by changing who I am, but by helping me express who I am more clearly. I love you so deeply that even though I tell you every day, there's no way you can imagine how far it really goes. Happy anniversary, my love, and my forever swipe right.